Here we are, guys. We're doing our 9/11 tribute today. I want to welcome everybody watching on the podcast today. Today we have Mr. Paul Roma. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing good. And right off the bat, I just want to, send my condolences to all the families and all the heroes that were affected on 9/11.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for everybody watching, this is Paul Roma from the WF and WCW tag team champion, longtime wrestler. He's actually living right now out here on the East Coast and stuff. Paul, we really appreciate you tuning in with us and stuff like that. Paul, he was actually part of the Four Horsemen. We were talking a little bit ago. Paul, tell us about the Four Horsemen.
I don't know. It's an elite group of wrestlers, professional wrestlers. I was, proud to be a part of it. And I don't know. Just a great time of my life.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was with Ric Flair and stuff. I remember. Yeah. Okay. So, Paul, today we're doing a 9/11 dedication. So all you guys watching and stuff like that, we got a couple of things going on. We're doing a 9/11 tribute. We're also honoring Dana's son, who's a Navy sailor who she lost to suicide, and so we're going to be honoring her son as well. And then we also have a couple other people with us. Mr. Garza, he is a Bronze Star medal recipient. Can you tell us about your Bronze Star medal, Mr. Garza?
Thank you. I want to piggyback off Paul's sentiments on 9/11 that we will remember all those that we lost today. Being a former naval intelligence officer, I was deployed to Iraq in April of 2008 and returned home April of 2009. I was embedded with some folks out there and looking for bad guys and doing some things. Can't really talk about too much about what we did, but spending a year away from home and spending time with the family, it was very minimal during that time, and coming back, and not just me, but a lot of other folks that were out there supporting that mission in Iraq. And so, as active duty folks that were out there just doing our part to make sure that fight stays over there, it doesn't come home. And we were pretty busy, and I'll say, out of 374 days that I was deployed, I was home about 7. And so, that's just a testament to the men and women that are out there doing the work and going out and making sure that we all contribute in some kind of way. But most importantly, it was definitely a team environment that we were out there and trying to protect the people out there who couldn't protect themselves. I'll never forget coming home in those 7 days. My son was in the first grade and got a chance to visit his class, and one little boy asked, what does your dad do? And I'll never forget my son telling him, even at 6 years old, hey, my dad fights for people who can't fight for themselves. And that's what we went out and did, and that's what we were trying to do and support those people. And I'll never forget that. I know that's something near and dear, but being a part of that and being able to contribute was something that every airman, Marine, Army soldier, Coast Guard, Navy sailor take pride in. And so I was glad to do my part.
Right. Yeah.
I thank you personally. I want to say thank you to Dana's son for all he contributed, and to every military personnel, first responder. I don't think people truly understand, what they're giving up. And, for my freedom, for my daughter's freedom, my children's freedom, I understand. My father is Navy, and I get it. You know, he brought me up with that respect for the service. And again, I can't thank everybody enough. I don't think the people of sports understand that they get to go out on a green field and they complain about, you know, having footballs thrown at their head or being speared. I mean, that's their biggest complaint. You guys are having bullets and rockets shot at you, and you're not complaining. And you got these, you know, these pansy asses, you know, crying in football, or the LeBron James world that, you know, complain while, you know, you're out there fighting for, you know, us, what we get to do every day of our lives. We get up, you know, most people, I should say, get up and they go about their day, never thinking of why their day is free, never thinking of why they get to do what they do. It's because of people like you that sacrifice for us. And I don't think you get enough credit. And I don't think you get enough help like Dana's son. I don't think they get enough help. And this needs to be, you know, people need to be made aware of this. It's very important.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah,
and
absolutely, Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, listen. I got a video. I'm gonna play real fast. It's a short video about 9/11. And hold on, I want to play this for you guys, and then after you watch it, let me know what you think. Hold on.
American 11, are you trying to call? American 11, are you trying to call?
The cockpit is not answering their phone. Our number 1 has been staffed, and our 5 has been staffed.
Hey, I'm going to call from Washington. I have a situation with American 11, a possible hijack.
What's going on, Betty? The crap is erratic again. Problem, very erratic. Betty, talk to me. Betty, are you there? Betty? Betty?
The plane just exploded.
What?
The 737.
Did what?
Like the World Trade
Who are you
Center.
talking to?
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
United 175, New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, 2 of them.
Jules, this is Ryan. Lives on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, and it's not looking good, I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So have a good time. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you, and I'll see you later, Jessica. Bye, babe.
What are those people gonna do? All the elevators are blocked out.
Oh my God. So both towers are now.
Okay, I got an aircraft 6 miles east of the White House.
Hello?
Crystal City, just north of Crystal City.
Just to the north of your town.
Yeah, stop all departures.
Pentagon just got hit. No for me then. God damn it, I can't even protect my NCA. United 93, that traffic for you is 1 o'clock, 12 miles eastbound 370.
Negative contact, we're looking, United 93.
United 93, Cleveland, if you hear the center ident.
I got that pizza, Doc. Keep remaining steady. You have the ball, boys.
Tuesday, 9:47 a.m.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
We're 56865. We have, I believe it is a Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
That's confirmed. It looks like he's rocking his wings.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
Number 56865, I advise you stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
United 9-3. Have you got information on that yet?
Yeah, he's down.
He's down?
Yes.
When did he land?
He did not land.
Oh, he's down?
Yeah,
Down?
somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
Wanted me, let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. There's lots of smoke, and I just wanted you to know that I love you always.
At number 2 World Trade Center, right. Ladies and students in the office, we're not ready to die, but it's getting bad.
I'm on the 83rd floor. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. I'm gonna die.
Liv, say your prayers.
God.
We're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor.
I'm
Now,
gonna die. I know.
Use map of war. That's what it is.
Wow. Yeah, did you guys what did you guys take on that video footage right there? Did you guys see that before, or?
I feel like it never gets any easier to see things like that. I wanted to thank you and Mr. Garza for your service, and my condolences to everyone that lost family. It's awful to see that even all these years later, it doesn't get easier.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's still, that day still lays heavy on my heart right there. I was in the military when 9/11 happened. So to tell you guys kind of like my story where I was at, I was with my unit in Virginia, and the sergeant came in and he said, "Listen, if you're from New York, New Jersey, DC," he said, get your gear and get upstairs." So I went immediately upstairs, and he sat us down and showed us that same video footage on the TV with both the towers getting hit. And when I seen the first tower hit, that's when I knew. And then they showed us the second tower getting hit, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I ended up calling my family and stuff like that to make sure that, they weren't in New York or anything at the time, shopping or visiting or doing something. So, but luckily my family was safe on that event. But not everybody was. We lost a lot of first responders, police, firemen, military, families, victims of that day. And then, throughout the Iraq war, Afghanistan war, all the soldiers that we lost because of 9/11, it's unnameable. We lost way too many people because of this. And I know this is the time for us to honor them today on 9/11. So, I really appreciate you guys coming on here so we can honor all the fallen, so we never forget. Can you guys tell me where were you guys on 9/11? If anybody can share, we can kind of pass the mic around and hear everybody's story.
Okay. So I was in ninth grade, and I got to school, and I remember them stopping everything that happened, and they brought the TVs in the room, and that's when we saw like the second plane hit the second tower, and we were just all sitting there like, it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
I was actually a police officer for Gwinnett County Police Department in Metro Atlanta, and I was in a training class for survival Spanish for law enforcement, and we were taking our very first break from class that day, and we were in the break room when the first plane hit the first tower, and we never left the break room, and we ended up having to go back. We finished the class hours, right? But we didn't go back to class, but we finished that day, and we were told to report back to our precincts for 12-hour shifts. And I spent the rest of that week working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then going back to class every morning from 8 to 5. And then the world changed in an instant that day for not just law enforcement or the firefighters and first responders, but for everybody. But that was truly a wild experience. Like we thought everything was going to be under attack that day. We all went back. We stopped by our homes and we picked up extra magazines. We picked up all of our backup weapons. We loaded down our patrol cars with anything and everything we could think of in case we were the ones holding down the OK Corral. So anyway, it was an awful day, and I remember, I'll never forget where I was that day.
Hi everyone, my name's Thomas. What I remember, so I don't really remember much. I know I was in the third grade. I was in the third grade. I can't really remember. I was 9 years old, so yeah, we're talking 21 years. So and I was 9. I do remember. So I'm located in South Jersey, Millville, New Jersey, which is about 2.5 hours from New York City. And what I do remember is we were in school. We finished the whole day. They didn't do no early dismissal or nothing. I remember my mom came and got me, and we all went home. And again, we're 2.5 hours away. And I remember seeing smoke, a lot of black smoke. Not where it covers it doesn't cover the clouds or whatever, but enough smoke to realize this was a lot. And again, so I mean, to be honest, I was a little bit too young to realize what was going on. But at that age to know that it wasn't normal, it wasn't right. And yeah, I think as Dana said, forward, doesn't get easier. Those and yeah, but I forget third grade class, and
Well, I know. The first plane hit the tower. It brought back a lesson when a military plane hit our state building. I didn't really think attack at that point. Second plane hit the second tower. Then I knew something was up, as did everybody. Took off from work in a state of confusion, didn't know what to do, wanted to go into New York. They told everybody to stay fast because New York was basically shut down. They shut everything down. You couldn't get in or out of New York. And I just stayed home and prayed and watched it on TV, what was unfolding. Again, in a state of confusion and just, sad that this was happening. We were being attacked from within.
I remember being in my car and I had my son with me that passed away. He was only 3. and I was listening to Howard Stern. And at first, when he said the first plane crashed, I actually thought that maybe it was a prank, that it wasn't real. And then when I heard about the second tower, I just froze, turned around, drove home. And my dad at the time was working in Philadelphia by the Liberty Bell. And at that point, I was scared to death. I didn't know what was going to be next, if they were going to target all the big cities. So I remember immediately just trying to get home as fast as I could, getting a hold of my dad, yelling at him to get home, and just turning on the news and crying and just watching it for days in shock and disbelief that something like this could happen. And I had friends in the military. Then I started to worry about them too. It was just awful to watch that and see what, in a matter of minutes, the devastation. It's horrible.
I was in the Navy Reserves already, and I was working as a high school assistant principal in Spring, Texas, of a high school of about 3,000 students. And when everything started going down there early in the morning, a lot of chaos and a lot of panic between parents coming to school, kids communicating with their parents, parents coming in and screaming, "We're under attack," and trying to keep everybody calm. And at the same time, my cell phone's blowing up from my reserve unit, which was an F-18 squadron out of Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And so made for a long day. And finally I got the call, and my unit told me to go home and pack my bags and be ready. And so I remember leaving at about 1:15, 1:30 in the afternoon, and racing home and packing my sea bag and watching everything that transpired throughout the day. And that sea bag sat there until after the birth of my son in March of 2002, excuse me. And then wasn't until 2008 that I got the call that it was going to be my turn to go, and was ready to go. And so I'll never forget that day. I had some friends in the Pentagon, and later on, my chief that I worked with later in my career found out he was only about 3 months away from where the tower, or 3 blocks away from where the towers fell. And so he was on site immediately doing some rescue recovery. And so, yeah, I mean, that's where I was.
Yeah, for anybody tuning in, we're just sharing about where we were on 9/11 and stuff. Hey guys, I want to say a prayer for everybody for 9/11. Dear God, we come to you, and we just ask you to uplift the hearts and the families, to the first responders, to the police, to the military, the firemen, all the soldiers, their victims and their families, and that they can have peace today and kind of reflect and on what happened, and so they can maybe uplift their hearts during this time, because I know a day like this, a tragic day, can bring back some really bad memories and experiences and times for them. And if you can just help them get through this, God, and let them make it through another day, and just let us sit here and reflect. And God, we just ask you and thank you for being with us today and bringing us together, and for everybody, just bless all the 9/11 victims, God, and in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Okay. So who do we got up next? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me see. I got another video if you guys want to watch. Hold on 1 second.
Der zweite Turm zusammen. In diesem Moment bricht der nördliche Turm des World Trade Centers zusammen. Wir können nur alle hoffen, dass alle Menschen aus diesem Turm evakuiert sind. Es gibt kein World Trade Center mehr. New York hat sein Wahrzeichen verloren. Die Welt hat ein Wahrzeichen verloren.
Yeah. So what did y'all think about that? Pretty powerful, huh? To see that video footage like that. That's like ground zero.
Yeah, just a horrific day. You know, changed the way of thought for a long time. Actually, the upside was that it brought Americans together, as opposed to where we are today.
You know, it is unfortunate that we as Americans have a very short memory. That wasn't that long ago, and a lot of us have forgotten about it. I'm glad to be a part of this today to help maybe remind folks of that.
Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I sit back and think, because of that day and that day forward, I
lost him. Maybe he'll get back in. No, Dana's back.
Yeah. Hey, Dana, can you hear okay?
I can hear.
Okay. Dana, so pretty much tell us about, because you know today's 9/11 and that's our main thing to discuss 9/11 and stuff. But where was your son at during 9/11?
My son, at the time, I only had one son, and he was only 3 when 9/11 happened. So he was with me, and he didn't really understand what was going on. Like, I remember him looking at me, and I was crying, and he didn't get it. And I remember trying to shield him from the TV because, like I said, at that time, we really didn't know what was going to be next. And I didn't want him to be afraid. But then, you know, as time went on, of course, I started to tell him more, you know, within the next week, but tried to make him still feel safe. But it's my 15-year-old is here with me today. And this morning when he got up, he was watching all 9/11 videos and different things about it.
Right.
And, you know, he always asked me, we were talking about it yesterday. I was telling him exactly where I was and what it was like. And, you know, he said that they were talking about it in school. And even one of his teachers said there's not one person that doesn't remember where they were that day when it happened. And it just, like I said, to see the images today, it's just as hard as it was back then.
Right.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing, Dana. So that, you know, he always wanted to be in the military, I guess, huh? That was
He
something
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he always did. He always wanted to serve his country, and I was so proud of him when he decided to serve his country. You know, I think when 9/11 happened, it changed a lot of people's perspectives about different things.
Yeah,
You know, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that probably weren't thinking about going into the service changed their minds. And I actually heard that from quite a few people that said, I'm going to go sign up and I'm going to go defend our country, and that's what they did.
I had a few friends that they decided to enlist after 9/11. You know, people just felt that need. They wanted to do something.
Right.
And everyone came together. I think that was the only thing positive is you saw people coming together, looking out for each other more.
Yeah, and not only that, the country was so patriotic.
Yes.
You couldn't look left or right for yet a moment and see an American flag waving, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. And again, not getting political, but going into the years to come, how they started turning Americans against each other, black against white. Now you have Asians that they're boasting about about that happening. It's not the America that it was. As horrific as 9/11 was, again, it brought everybody together. Everybody cared about one another again. And it's this is what our government didn't want. As the next president came in and the one after that, you could see it. It's not the way that it was. Everything became, racial, and it shouldn't have been that way. And the American people allowed it to become that way. We did something about 9/11, and we, for the most part, our military put an end to it. At least made us safe. We felt safe for a long time. And now they're just creating a 9/11 right here on our home turf. And it's sad. It really is sad.
And I think it's important for people to keep talking about it, talk about it in school, to teach the younger kids about this and what could happen again. We don't know. And teaching them to come together and to be patriotic. You should love your country. You should support your military.
Well, yeah, I agree. The only problem with that is because of this new, and maybe I'm wrong, this woke, and these people, without getting really political, these liberals, and I just call them all communists. If you don't agree with saying your prayers and defending our flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, then I just think you're a communist. That's me. That being said, it has to start at home. We tell that it should be in the schools, and yes, I agree with you, Dana. It should be in the schools, but it starts at home. Patriotism starts at home, and we don't have enough of it. The families of today, the moms and dads of today, all they care about are their white picket fence, their house, and their family, as far as putting up a front for everybody else. And they're not teaching the values anymore. That's what's missing today. Is that the values. The teachers can only do so much. So again, to me, it starts at home, and if it's not happening at home, they're not going to be able to change the mindset of the kids in school. Can it help some of them? Yes, but it's not going to change it. It's the parents. They're not doing their job. Just my opinion. Because we know our job, that's for damn sure.
Right. And I didn't get a chance to say, Dana, my condolences for your son, my shipmate, my brother.
Thank you.
We all take that to heart. And, you know, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm the way I am today because of 9/11, because of that situation. Years down the road, I got deployed and I had to go do things that are not normal. You know, those things that we see over there are not what's normal here. And so when you go experience things like that, it doesn't go away. It stays with you. You don't forget. I mean, you can ask Vietnam vets, you know, how long ago was it when you were there? Last night, because you have those bad dreams, you have those nightmares, you're experiencing those things, and they happen more often. I know when I came home, I was very hesitant to drive. My head was always on a swivel. I'm looking here, I'm looking in bushes, I'm looking in trees, and I'm looking everywhere. And so coming back was a handful for me. So some of the things that we do now, veteran advocacy, you know, this is Suicide Prevention Month, and you know, we got to be more mindful. And like Paul said, you know, how patriotic we were when that happened. We still need to be patriotic because we still got guys that are coming back and they're hurting in some kind of way. And the work that we do with my organization here in Wisconsin, we are dedicated to picking up those men and women and helping them out. But we can't forget that that's not just happening here in Wisconsin. That's happening across the country. We've got folks that are hungry, that don't have a roof over their head, that are struggling with mental challenges. And what are we going to do about it? And I think that's what all of us here are focused on. I know that has been a big part of my work here. And that helps me recover. And that helps me kind of throttle back. And, you know, it's kind of funny. I got to tell you something my daughter and I were just talking about the other day, and it was pretty spot on. We were talking about something. I was getting worked up, and she's pretty witty, and she'll go, "Hey, Dad, I know it's tough being a PIMP, but you're at a 12 right now, and I need you at a 4." You know, and my daughter and son will kind of keep that real for me a little bit, but they've seen their dad change from pre-deployment to post-deployment, but nonetheless, we got to work hard to get to that point where we get ourselves right, and self-care is a big part of that. But how do we help other people get to that point too? And if you love somebody and you care about them, don't just talk about it. You got to go do something about it, you know, and find resources that are going to help people get to that point where they don't hurt themselves. And, you know, that's an everybody issue. That's not just us. We all got to be a part of that team to make a difference for somebody else. So I'll tell you, Paul and Mario, it's an honor for me to be on here with you guys. I'm a big wrestling fan. My daughter is too. I've only missed 2 WrestleManias, and one of them was coming back from my deployment in April of 2009. So, hey, this is an honor for me, and I just try to lighten the mood a little bit. But thank you guys. I appreciate the years of entertainment, and just love you guys. And that industry is just a big fan of my daughter and I. So thank you.
Well, look, Mario and I couldn't do what we did if it wasn't for our military, you know, keeping our homeland safe. But I will tell you this, and I know he's not going to say anything, but he's going to say it now because I'm going to put him on the spot. Mario needs to talk about his dad and all the medals that his father has received being in the military, because I was blown away when I found out. And I said, dude, why don't you ever talk about your dad, man? I mean, this guy he's a war hero, and you know, he went above and beyond. Mario, please.
Well, it's like, you know, Roma said, you know, Roma and I, we've got a 38-year friendship, you know, and we know each other like the back of our hands. So it's easy when you grow up with it. In the house. So my father was a World War II veteran. He was in the Battle of the Bulge. He got the Purple Heart. He got the Bronze Star. Numerous other medals. He saved the lieutenant who got shot and injured. And he put him over his shoulders, and he basically just dumped him in his foxhole, you know. And my dad would really never talk about the war much, but you know, the only thing he said to me was, "Look, I dug a foxhole and I shot whatever came near me." And basically that's what he would do in World War II. And you know, when you grow up with it, you automatically respect it. You know, you have that respect for the flag. You have the respect for our country. There are times in Roma too. I mean, you know, during the national anthem, sometimes I get really choked up. You know, my father's not here anymore. Roma's father isn't here anymore, who also served in the military, and we think about what they did and what they had to sacrifice, just like you. You know, we're your fans, man. You're not ours. We're yours for serving this country, and you know, it's easy. So it's just as easy to get offended when you grew up all your life with this high level of respect for the military and for our country, and then you know, you watch sports and people are kneeling while the national anthem's going on. They're you know, that saying on the, you know, don't tread on me. They're treading on the United States. They're disrespecting what you sacrificed, what our fathers sacrificed in the war. And you know, like Roma said, in our lives, in our mind, in our hearts, that's not right. And, you know, you talk about 9/11, and you know, I always put it in perspective when there's a tragic death of one of our friends or one of our loved ones, and I automatically think of that guy or that woman giving their spouse and their children a kiss goodbye, going, "Hey, I'll see you tonight for dinner." And you know what? They didn't. You know, they didn't, and that is tremendously sad. And I think of those people all the time. I think of the horrific scenes of somebody on a high floor going, do I burn to death or do I jump? What's my choice? How do I want to die? I mean, that is absolutely unconscionable. It's unconscionable that somebody would be in that position. And everybody that lost someone is tragic. I think about those people all the time. I pray for them all the time. You know, it's just a horrible thing. And like Roma said, you know, in a sense, a lot of that is kind of the tables being set now, while everybody's, you know, on social media and on Facebook and TikTok, and that's how we got caught with our pants down in 9/11. Everybody's head was somewhere else, you know, and we even had warnings it was going to happen, and we went, yeah, nah, it probably not, and it did. And I get things that come across the news all the time, you know, whether it be you know, North Korea or Russia, and I shake my head and go, you know, we better have our ears up and our eyes open, because something's going to happen here. Something's going to happen, and we better be ready for it and aware of it. And I think of Roma's father, and I think of my father, and guys like you, and we have a guy in our organization, Ralph, who is a Desert Storm veteran. And I go, you know, are we prepared for this? Do we have the same military mentality? Are we able to go in there and fight like Americans used to fight, right, Roma? Like our fathers. I mean, God forgive me, in 2022, I don't think we have the same men. Everybody's, you know, so sensitive now about so many different issues, ripping down statues. You can't say him or her anymore. I mean, things are becoming so sensitive that, you know, do they have the mentality to fight for this country anymore? You know what I mean? Or people just going to push a button and we're, you know. So that's my feeling on it. And, you know, my father, you know, I guess I never talked about my dad a lot with the war, because he never talked about it a lot. But the funny part is, I'm a son, but once my oldest sister married her husband, who was a Vietnam veteran, they went in a corner. And when my father passed away, he had told me they would always talk about the war. I go, my father would barely talk to me about the war. But I guess he had somebody to relate to, because he was in Vietnam and my father was in World War II. So, God bless everyone that's ever, put their foot on the battlefield.
Yeah, God bless. God bless, guys. How are you? What's going on, Mario?
What's happening? Just trying to nurse my back and from all those falls I took when I was a kid, But listen, I got to live the life. I am one of the top 5 losers in pro wrestling history. I mean, I have that. I'm like 2 in 628, so I got a great record. I'm not like my brother up there, Mr. Roma.
Yeah.
See, the thing with Roma is he was slightly a better athlete than I was.
Just slightly.
But when they put us side to side in the dressing room, Vince McMahon actually scratched his head. He said, "I can't tell who's who." Yeah.
Unless you put your glasses on.
Listen, you want a true story? I'm going to tell you guys a true story. This is the honest to God story. So it's like 1985, and I decided to do a real dumb thing, which is work out with Roma. And he's doing these tricep push downs, and he's doing them, to me, was a little unorthodox, right? So I looked at him as this 19-year-old kid, and I went, "Hey, Roma, you sure you're doing that right?" So he puts he racks the weight, he puts his arm around me really slow, and he starts walking with me. Now there's mirrors all over the perimeter of the gym. And he walks up the mirror, and he's got his arm around me, and he goes, "Hey, Mancini, look at you, and now look at me. And then ask me again if I'm doing it right." And I went, okay, because everybody knows that Roman has the best body in pro wrestling. I mean, Valentine, God bless Ordendorff, Bret Hart, like, no one can touch him as far as his athleticism to do the leapfrogs and the drop kicks. The only guy in pro wrestling history that I know of that could climb to the top rope with no hands. No, if I tried to do that, I would have ended up in the 3rd row. You know what I mean? I can't. He was just a real gifted athlete. You know what I mean? So, and that served him good later in life. He had some, he faced some pretty serious challenges. And when we thought he was, other people thought that he was checking out, I said, "You got the wrong guy." You got the wrong guy. He's not dying. That's Roma. You kidding me? He's not going anywhere. And I was right. Yeah, everybody thought, we're losing him. I go, yeah, no. So yeah. What are you gonna do? Somebody had to lose. It was me. So,
listen, it wasn't real.
Well, listen.
When we talk about our fathers and Mr. Garza and Dana's son, this is real. This is reality.
Oh, this is reality. Good. Just give me a couple of minutes. This is reality. You're right.
Yeah, my son, both of my boys and my brother, big WWF fans. That's all. My house, I think every bed was broken from them wrestling. The other day I still found, and my son's 15, I found wrestling figures still somewhere. Somehow they keep popping up.
All right, good.
Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, fortunately, wrestling gave Roma and I an avenue to do things like this, to talk about other things and support other things. Even through Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, we've done a couple shows for Mission 22. That was very near and dear to our hearts. So for the veterans, we were happy to do that show. We'd like to do it again. Anything that has anything to do with any kind of military veterans, our our wrestling company, we're very fast to raise money for that and do a charity show for the veterans anytime. I mean, Roma and I, you know, we see a guy with a hat on that says Vietnam vet or Desert Storm vet, whether we know him or not, it doesn't matter. We walk right up to him. Thank you so much for your service. It really, the people generally, they don't realize, you know, unless you grow up with it, the sacrifice that you guys have made is a tremendous sacrifice. And, you know, I just saw a client yesterday. He's a veteran, and he served, and he served Desert Storm, and he's like, I have pancreatitis, and it's on the list. And this is a young guy. When I say fairly young, I mean he's in his 40s. He's got pancreatitis, and he got denied benefits, you know, disability benefits and it's on the list of some of the side effects if you served in the Middle East. I mean, my stomach turned. I'm like, but then again, my father would always wave his hand because he had bad feet. He got frostbite in France, and he got shrapnel in his leg. And I'm like, as I got more educated, I'm like, Dad, do you want me to go to the VA? I'll fight for you to get benefits through the VA. I'll go to the VA in West Haven. He goes, you wanted no part of it. He would just go, you know. So I don't, you know, it's you guys. We always say it. Everybody always says it. You know, look at Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge wants, at the end of this baseball season, he's going to want a 10-year contract for $40 million a year. 10 years, $400 million. And what he plays a kid's game. He goes up there and swings a bat. He's got a rare talent. You know what? He might hit 62 home runs this year, and that's fantastic. But put on another uniform and grab a gun and go into the military and get shot at, and you have to kill or be killed. And how much are those guys worth? $100 million a year? You know, those guys. Those are the guys that are worth that kind of money. You know what I mean? It really saddens me the way veterans have to fight for their benefits. You know, and they have to convince people, yeah, I'm sick. You know, this has really happened to me, and I need help. And they get denied. He showed me the letter. He got flat out denied. So it really irks me.
You know, and here's the thing. They already fought the war. They shouldn't have to come back here and fight another war on their own land in their own country. They should be handed, you know, carte blanche.
Right.
Yep.
Right? I mean, why? Why is this happening? You know, people, I think people forgot another really important thing. Why is it our government? Everybody in our government. Democrat, Republicans, all the communists that are in our government. Why is it that they make more money than us? When they work for us, what company? Leon Musk doesn't pay somebody. Eon, I should say, doesn't pay somebody more than what he makes. So then why are we paying our government people more than what we make?
Right.
And we have to ask them for things. Our veterans have to beg.
Yeah, these men and women
Get help.
These men and women put their life on the line. They basically sign their life away when they enlist, and when they retire, they should have everything that they need, no questions asked.
Hands down.
I mean, it's sickening that this happens. It makes me sick when you see veterans that are homeless. Why are they homeless? Most of them are combat vets. It's disgusting.
Why does Mr. Garza have to raise money, have to go out there and help veterans? Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. But why do you have to do it? Our veterans should be able to go to, you know, their local, I don't know, whatever, you know, get help. Go to the local hospital, go to wherever they need to go to, and not have to fight or get turned away. But why are our veterans living in the streets? There's something wrong. They need to be fixed. They need help. You know, and again, it's a beautiful thing that so many organizations helping them. But should there be that many when we have a government that is wealthy? But no, they're so busy pulling and lining their own pockets.
There's a couple ways to look at veterans right now. Those that discharge from the service with good paper, good discharges, and those that discharge with bad paper, which means they got kicked out of service. A veteran who may have 4 combat deployments and gets out after 16 years and he gets in trouble for one thing and they kick him out, he loses any opportunity to get any benefits at the VA, which may take care of him. So now he's out of luck trying to get support from the VA, as opposed to those who got discharged with a honorable discharge. Nonetheless, dishonorable discharge or honorable discharge, we got some guys that have served and done some things that most people wouldn't even think about wanting to do. And yet only 1 out of the 2 can get help. And that's where, as you say, Paul, I got to go out and raise money and bring awareness to these situations, because if I don't do it, or some of my other colleagues who aren't doing it, how do we provide help to those guys? And that's the biggest issue right now, is that those guys are falling through the cracks who got an unfavorable discharge from the military. But it's like, wait a minute, they still need help. We still got to get them right. We still got to make sure that they're productive in society so that we can help them support themselves, take care of their family, get a job, do the American dream, right, if you will, because at the end of the day, they fought for us. And, you know, I get a lot of people say, hey, thank you for your service. And I appreciate that. I do. But I always respond with, and I'm going to speak for Dana's son too, because he's my shipmate. And we did it because everyone's worth it. All the Americans in our country are worth it. You know, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Right. And it's like, what is it? Less than 1% of the population in the U.S. serves in the military. But we got to do a little bit more. And I'm with you, Paul. But unfortunately, the reality is, unless we go out and raise money and develop capital campaigns that will, like my organization, Center for Veterans Issues here in Wisconsin, not only do we provide services for support, but we also do transitional, like if they're homeless. We want to make sure we get them off the street. We give them 3 meals a day. We do the rehab. We provide support for any job placement or job training that they may need. They get 3 hot meals a day. We have to do those things to help these guys get back on their feet. And it's not a handout. We're giving them a hand up to do this.
Right.
And so, you know, but there are challenges that we deal with the VA. You know, we've got troops that come and live with us and say, yeah, I'm going through the disability compensation and pension evaluation, but they want me to prove that I was where I was when I was deployed. I'm like, come on, are you serious?
Yeah.
You know,
especially someone who's homeless. You think he's carrying everything with him? You know,
exactly.
he could barely, you know, take care of himself because of what's going on. I just want to say, Dana, what's your son's name?
Ethan. That's him behind me. I don't know if you can.
No, your son that served?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if that's him.
Your son that served. What was his name?
Yeah, Ethan. I just showed you his picture.
Oh, it's in behind you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Okay. I apologize. And again, you know, when I had my own podcast for some time, and we had over close to 4 million people watching, and the military. Stephen Lee, I met who's now what I consider my brother, part of my family. Stephen Lee, who was a Vietnam veteran. He was on my show a lot. And I went off on my show one time where, I said, well, thank you for your service, or, whatever the case may be. And people would chime in and they're like, oh, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for service. And I went off on this tirade because I'm very passionate about our military. And people, I think they got it. I couldn't even repeat what I said because I can't remember. It was just a moment thing where people don't truly mean. There's no heartfelt behind it. They just say it. Oh, sorry for your loss. You're not sorry for my loss. You really don't care. You're just saying it. And I struck a nerve with everybody. And I could see a lot of our sane people responding back with a different comment, a more heartfelt comment. And, again, I appreciate what your son, given his life, really. Could he have gotten help? Yeah, probably, if it was in place. If he knew he could go somewhere, would he be alive today? Yeah, probably more than likely he would be. And this is why when somebody like Mr. Garza is helping, it means so much. And people in Wisconsin need to get behind him and back him with whatever he needs. Mario touched on what we did. We opened up a wrestling school, and we did charity because Mario goes, I know it's dear to your heart. And I said, it is. And I was a spokesperson for St. Jude Foundation for so long while I was wrestling because of my sister who was handicapped. And so when I got into this school, we went probably out of 12 months, we did 10 months of shows that were for charity. Good organizations. People finally started coming to us. And I turned to Mario and I said, Mario, charity's killing us. We can't keep our doors open because we're giving all our money away that we're making. We at least have to keep our rent money. So I understand what Mr. Garza, what you're going through, because, if you're not getting the backing, how do you keep it going? How do you stay afloat? You're one person. You can only do so much. If all the others aren't doing and going above and beyond what you're doing and helping what you're doing, you can't stay afloat. And and it's hard. And people like Ethan, they don't have a place to go to. They don't have somebody that they could turn to for help. Maybe he just needed that helping hand.
Well, I think they're afraid of the stigma that comes with it too.
Mm-hmm.
I know my son was a perfectionist, extremely confident and intelligent. And then when you add drinking is so, so common, heavy drinking in the military, when you add alcohol to the mix, there's just not rational thinking involved. And that's a big problem also. It's that stigma attached to it. They don't want to reach out because they hold themselves up here and they don't want to be looked at like they're weak.
Correct. And actually, you say that, and I have a 14-year-old daughter and she's in gymnastics, started when she was, a little over 5. And I would teach her that crying is not an option. Never let anybody see you cry. And she'd split the beam and she'd walk out and I say, you okay? She goes, Daddy, that really hurt, Daddy. But I didn't cry. I said, good for you. You didn't cry. Because people take that and they look at it as a weakness. Come and cry next to me. It's okay. Because I'm your father and I care about you. But don't let them see you. And so I understand, what you're saying about your son. I get it. It's very difficult when you regard yourself up here and other people see you up there. You have no flaws as far as, you're showing the public. And that's how I was. I have flaws. I have many flaws, but I didn't show them. They didn't show them what they were. I kept them to myself, and I tried to fix them best that I could by myself. But there's some people that can't because, whatever the case may be, for whatever reason, mentally, emotionally, maybe, somebody is hooked on something and they can't get past it and they do need that help, but it's not there. And that's why, again, people like Mr. Garza, it's a great benefit to people out there, to people in Wisconsin, the military people of Wisconsin. And thank you for that, for helping them, because I think that's great.
Well, in order for me to help them or even try to even guide them in the same light, right? I need to tell them where I'm at. And one of the things I've always shared when I speak is, you know what? I am struggling with PTSD, but I do go to counseling. Because a lot of people will say, hey, you're doing great, or this and that and the other. I'm like, yeah, but you see that from about 30,000 feet. But on the ground, I struggle with sleep. I struggle with some bad dreams, or I get angry quickly, and I got to learn to bring that down. And in order for me to learn how to deal with that, I've asked for help. Right. I go to counseling. I am a product of what I'm saying. So I'm not just saying it to say, hey, you need to do it. I'm actually practicing it myself. Right. And if I can do that and maybe be the strong image of veteran advocacy and taking care of our brothers and sisters, but I take that on as I gotta be able to show that myself. And it's not BS, it's real. Because
right, but maybe Ethan didn't have that opportunity. He didn't have a you that he can go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody that could relate to him as to what's going on, that is going through it themselves. That's just not talking, they hear themselves talk.
I think, and I kept telling my son, I saw him, he had never had depression or anything. Like I said, my son was very confident, very smart, very sure of himself. And I mean, mentally tough. Like, this is a kid that he's been through a lot, and he just never saw him sweat, never saw him cry. And, I had noticed once he started, the more he had never drank, even in high school, he was never a fan of it. And then once he started to drink, and it seemed like overnight, drinking heavily, his whole thought process was just not right. And in the military, you can always go to the chaplain and speak to the chaplain, and that's kept private. They won't go to your unit. And I kept saying to him, I think you need to do something about your drinking. You're turning into a different person. And I said, why don't you go talk to the chaplain first and then take it from there? And they have this image to uphold. I feel like he was a supervisor in his shop, and he used to say, when I walk in, these younger sailors, they're looking to me to be, the answers that they need, to show them, to guide them. And I just don't think he hid his drinking so well, and whatever was going on in his mind so well, he never wanted anyone to see that. And maybe if there was someone like Mr. Garza who was saying, you know what, I've been there, maybe that would have given him the push to go and talk to someone. But unfortunately, I feel like when you're in active duty, no one will ever, say that they're struggling. So it makes it harder for them to really, I can't be the only one, I don't want to be that person in the command.
Right.
It's a shame.
Yeah. And you're right, Dana, I was on active duty. I didn't show it either. Yeah. I probably drank a little more than I needed to when I came back from my deployment, and I just never showed it. We become the best workers in the world until we get home. And then we deal with our demons the way we deal with them. We don't think anything's going to come of it, but even then, we didn't ask for help. It's a pride thing. It looks like a weakness thing, and when you're wearing that uniform, you're Superman, right? You got to go and you got to do it. But but when you come out of the service, you don't necessarily have that support that you would have on active duty. You don't have a right and a left to look and where to go and get the direction. When you leave, you leave. That gate shuts behind you, and then what? And that's where we fail, is that we don't have enough programs out there that let veterans know, hey, look, come on in. Let's talk. Let's get you figured out. Let's see what you need. Let's get you what you need, and let's get you on the right path. That same support system is not when you leave the military, unfortunately, but that's what we're trying to change here in Wisconsin, and it's going to take one day at a time. But we don't need any more situations like Ethan. We got to be a little more proactive. We got to be willing to go out and have that difficult conversation. And I would say, like Paul, you got to be real. You got to have the talk. And sometimes my mouth will get me in trouble because I'm not being as sensitive as I need to. But you know what? Sensitive didn't fix the problem. Being real will help you fix the problem. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when I say it, it ain't going to be perfect, but it's going to be real, and I'm sorry, but I mean, if your feelings are getting hurt because I'm talking to you real and giving you the honest truth, then you got to look at you. If you're not willing to put in the work, I can't do it for you.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing that you're doing what you're doing to help people. I've seen it so many times. People come home from the military and there's no support. They can't even find a job. And I just think, how is it that someone that served their country for all these years, now they're done, they're retired, and they're still young, they have nothing? It just doesn't, it's not right. And a lot of them have PTSD, and then that can lead to addiction issues, and there's not help readily available.
Yeah. Or there's a lot of bureaucracy to get the help. You should be able to knock on the door, go in and say, hey, I need some help, and let's get it. Let's get it going. There's just too much red tape in between. I mean, and we got to do something a little bit different. And we're trying to do that here in Wisconsin by starting our own mental wellness center and making sure that, and it goes back to Paul. Yeah, I'm raising the money to be able to do that, because the guys that don't want to go to the VA, like Mario said, to the guys who can't go to the VA, we have to be able to say, hey, we're not going to tell you no. The door is open. Come in and get some help. If we can't help you, we know some resources that will, but we're not going to let you fall through the crack. And that's why we wanted to start a mental wellness center within our organization, because we have too many opportunities to do something. Let's do it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And if it takes guys like me, I've got an advisory committee with about 12 veterans on it that we all passionately care about the same thing. They're all helping me. It's a team effort, right? But like Mario said, his dad was like, VA, done. Can't do it. But you know what? We got to get some guys into the VA because they may not have any other income to get the health care that they need. And that's where they need to go. And that's where we go and fight for them to make sure they get in there, get the help that they need, because they've earned it. That's the problem they have, is they don't feel they are entitled to it. They've earned it. We've got to do a better job of being that advocacy and fighting for them, because if they go by themselves, they don't know how to handle the VA or work through that process.
Right.
We do. We got a couple guys on our team that do, and we'll go. My caseworkers, my vice presidents for the organization, they go. But unfortunately, that's not everywhere. And we just have to do a better job of making sure we can kind of expand that reach. But from the mental health perspective, with this being Suicide Prevention Month, we're waiting to see if we get a big grant this next week here, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And if we do, we get to hire 5 more people to do mental health care prevention and outreach and awareness to help fight, to do suicide prevention around the state. But then we'll have healthcare providers that we can bring them in and go, hey, look, you need some help. Come on in. We'll try to get you right. But if we need longer term care for you, we know who to reach out to and get you that help. And so it's a community thing. And I always kind of refer back to Paul. Yeah, I got to go out and raise the money to do that, because we have to do this. We have to make this work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I run into people that veterans that they've been fighting the VA for 2 years. Why? Why do they have to fight the VA? Why? You know what I mean? It boggles my mind how you know. Hey Rome, it's almost like the wrestling business, right? You're there, you're giving everything you got, you leave everything in the ring, and you go in there and do your job. But later in life, when you need the knee replacements and the back surgeries and everything, you turn to look who's there for you, and there's no one. There's no one. Vince McMahon isn't there going, "Hey, you need my help?" You wrestled for me
Right.
for like 9 years. You need my help? You know what I mean?
All right, let me pay for your knees. Let me pay for your back.
Right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
Yet,
happen. But
no, yet there's other people that they understand this. They can go for 35 years and build Black Hawk helicopters at Sikorsky's, and they have a fantastic pension, and they have fantastic health benefits for the retirement because they built the arsenal. They didn't fly it, they didn't fight in it, but boy, they got. And I'm not taking anything away from them. I mean, they put their time in, but so did our veterans. They don't have those benefits those guys got from building the Black Hawks.
No.
I mean, it's kind of weird and sad at the same time how everything like that works. We don't know, and I'm very sorry about your son. We don't know. We weren't there, and the thing is, here's an example. When I was a senior in high school, I was going to pro wrestling school. So 6 weeks after I graduated high school, I turned pro in the WWF at 18 years and 6 weeks old. I was the youngest guy there. But I was going to wrestling school my senior year of high school, and I had to do a project on Vietnam. And there was only one Vietnam veteran I knew. He was in a gym. His name was Kenny. And I'll never forget it. And Roman knows my memory. He had like 75-pound dumbbells in his hand. And he was doing shrugs with them. And I said, "Hey, Kenny," he goes, "What's up, kid?" I go, "Hey, I got a school project on the Vietnam War. Would you talk to me about the Vietnam War?" And he lost his eye in Vietnam, so he's got one glass eye. And he just slammed the dumbbells down on the floor. I thought they were going to snap in half, and he just turned and looked at me, beat red. He went, "No." I go, "Oh, no?" He goes, "No, I'm not talking to you or anyone about Vietnam." I went, "I'm sorry." Okay. So, the men and women that come out of the military and we say they need help, they're depressed, they get this, they're starting to drink, they're starting to do drugs. They need to get that out. And they're not going to get that out to us a lot of times. They need an equal that was there with them, that will understand them and be able to truly empathize with them, because they were with them too. And sometimes that's not available. So you don't know where to turn. It's the same thing with the physical aspects. My father-in-law died at the age of 47. And in 1997, and he died from Agent Orange. He got Hodgkin's. Well, how come he's so young? How did he get? And the doctor said Agent Orange, and he's gone. It's the same thing with. You can imagine the depression and the sorrow of the family still left behind from 9/11, who got killed immediately. But how about the thousands and thousands of police and firefighters and doctors and volunteers that went down to ground zero to help, to be human and help And just by inhaling what was down there, they're not with us now. They died because they went down there to help. They're not with us simply by what they inhaled while they were down there. I mean, it's all just so sad.
Well, I'm going to say something. I hope no one takes this the wrong way. I'm going to point my finger at Dana. So don't get mad. And if you do, I'll understand, but not really.
That's wrong.
So here's the thing. So Mr. Garza's been there. He feels the effects of it. So his passion can be higher than if I was to try and do the same thing that he's doing, because he's living it. Dana, you lost your son to something. He was military. And for you to get involved, you'll have more passion, more of a drive than the other person. If you're not already doing it, then this is something that maybe, you could start to do. We raise money for all the different organizations through our organization. And I have a passion because of my sister. And there's a difference there. You can make a difference if you get involved. These are people that, or you're a person, and you're the person that we need to get involved to make a difference, because it touched you. It's personal with you. Your son's not here for that reason. And, people like you that take the time to go out and make that change, it does work, because nobody can tell you. I can't tell you how you feel because you lost your son to this. I don't have your feelings for him. You do. You're the only one who knows. Just like Mr. Garza, he's the only one. He feels that. So his passion is there. Other people mean well. We mean well. When I go and raise money, I mean well. When I'm on this show right now, I mean well. But I can't feel and know what you're going through or Mr. Garza's going through, because I'm not going through it. And that's why it comes across coming from you or him more so than coming from me, because you're living it or you lived it.
Now, you're very right. That's why when I hear people say things, sometimes people say things and they don't understand, the power of what they're saying. I do. I take things personal because I care about our military. I care about mental health and alcoholism. My son was an alcoholic. He served his country and he was suffering mentally. So it's something that's important to me, because I never want someone to have to suffer the way that I've suffered and my family suffered and my son.
Right. And you can make a difference because you're speaking, from experience now, as opposed to somebody who means well, who's fighting for the same thing you are. But do they have that passion? Did they lose somebody? No. Do they mean well? Yeah, they mean well, but they can never get the point across like you can. Like Mr. Garza, it's getting his point across. He gets it. I mean, he has an issue. And, he can really make somebody understand more than I could ever make someone understand. That's just me. That's, again, sometimes I rub people the wrong way because they don't quite understand the point I'm trying to make. But
I know, I understand. I agree with you. I'm doing my first suicide walk October 15th. And for me, that's just the beginning for me, because I feel like I want to keep my son's memory alive, and I want to try to help other people. The fact that he was suffering so bad and hid it and no one ever knew, it's heartbreaking as a parent.
Right. Well, you feel you could always have done something to help him, but you didn't know.
Yeah, and he was 5 hours away. And again, like Mr. Garza had said before, there were a couple times where I said to him, why don't you just try an AA meeting? But if someone doesn't want to do it, it's hard. You can't force them. But I feel helpless. I feel like there was more that I could have done. How could I have not known? How could I have not seen the signs?
Well, what if you knew? What if you knew somebody like a Mr. Garza, that was in the military, and you had somebody you could reach out to and say, "Hey, can you help my son? He's in denial, but I know he has a problem." You didn't have that resource, and that's why what Mr. Garza is doing is so important, because he's a resource to other families.
It is.
Dana, I think there's some great opportunities that we can work together, and support one another and help get your story out and do some things. So we'll have to connect after the show, and thanks to Rob and Paul and Mario and the rest of the guests, we got to build a team, and we got to get some work done.
Definitely, I would like that.
Well, if you ever need us, I know Roma and I are there for you all the way. When it comes to our veterans, we roll the red carpet out, and rightfully so, because it should be rolled out for each and every one of them.
Well, just sitting here talking.
She's doing a walk October 15th. I say we all go meet her and join her for her walk. We'll have to fly you in, Mr. Garza.
Yeah, where's the walk going to be?
It's
New
gonna
Jersey.
be in New Jersey in Cumberland County.
All right.
I think I'm headed there right now.
Yeah, you are, right? You're coming back from Pennsylvania, aren't you?
No. New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we can get some info on it, hey, I'll definitely take a peek about coming out there and support that walk and get a chance to meet everybody in person and have coffee, share some ideas, and let's work together. I mean, what a powerful group of people here, and we should be able to get some things done, and let's do it.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
October 15th.
Thank you. October 15th, Cumberland County.
Okay, come on.
I thought this was great. I thank you for inviting me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. Sorry it was late. But when I got on, I was happy to see that, because Roma and I talk every day, and I don't think either one of us knew we were going to be on this show together.
Well, I actually thought the show was, I don't know why, but I thought the show was at 5:00 tonight. I was prepared for 5:00 tonight, and when he buzzed me and said, "Hey, the show is at this time," I was like, I thought it was 5:00, but it was all good.
I don't know why I thought it was later too, but I'm on my way to pick my daughter up in New Jersey, and it's like, all right, here's the link at 9:04. I said, geez, I'm in the car, and I didn't know if it would connect or not. And I was giving another friend a ride to the ferry, so I just pulled over and turned the car off, and that's when I connected. So because I wouldn't connect, and I think you heard the echo while I was driving, so I just pulled over in Fairfield just so I can finish up the show. But I love doing these. Roma and I always do these podcasts and shows, but especially when it comes to veterans. Now, if you ever want to do a political show at Roma, I would suggest that you put about 4 hours aside for that show.
Great. No. Yeah, let's circle back around and make it happen.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I can even listen, whatever the chat is. Well, I could even put my number in the message portion here. Anybody wants to get a hold of me, text me, get a hold of me on Facebook, whatever. You know what? Even if we could do a show, even though it's in Connecticut, man, we'll send the money wherever we need to send it to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
I'll do a
connect on I'm all over Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll do a message after this so we can talk in a group message.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send a message. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then maybe so October 15th is a little bit of ways. I say, let me see, September, October. If you want, let's meet back up on the podcast October 1st. That's before the 15th. We can reiterate for a little while on here. And then, we'll definitely do this on the 15th, the walk.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, cool, guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming on. Oh, hey.
Thank you.
Just appreciate what you guys are doing. And thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
God bless. Have a
God
good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Good stuff, brother.
Yeah. All right, brother. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. So we'll do this again on October 1st.
Okay.
And
Sounds
we'll
good.
see you in Jersey, my friend.
You got it, brother. All right, we'll talk to you.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.